This conference will
Good
now be
morning.
recorded.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We're about to begin our meeting today. Do we have any volunteers on the prayer?
I'll take it.
Okay.
Pray with me. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here and making another day, Lord, that we can experience your creation. We just ask that you be with us as we undertake the work of the county that's placed before us this morning. Just give us insight and give us wisdom and give us the ability to make the right decisions for the people we represent. We just ask that you be with those in our community that stand in need of prayer. You know the situation in every life, Lord. You can provide. We just ask that you give us a special time the remainder of this day. Forgive us where we fail you. For us in Christ's name we pray all things. Amen.
Amen. Let's all stand and join in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. We have before you a proposed agenda. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add a executive session for a personnel matter.
Dave,
No, sir.
Tim,
No, sir.
Eugene,
I'm good.
Tony?
No, sir. Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the agenda, approve the agenda.
I second.
There has been motion and second. All in favor by the show of hands. And that is unanimous. Okay, we have, the old minutes were emailed to everybody. What's the pleasure of the board?
I so move that we accept the old minutes. I second.
Okay, there's been motion and second. Do we have any discussion or correction on the old minute? If not, all in favor by the show of hands, and that is unanimous. Mr. Steve is on you.
Okay. Beth, do you have all your entourage here or do you need to wait? Come on up, Will. Okay, whichever how you want to do it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and members of the commission, for allowing me to come on behalf of the Diana Women's Club and speak with you this morning about something that we're very excited about and hope that you will also be interested. As many of you probably know, the Diana Women's Club has been a force for good, as we might call it, since 1957. So we've been around a long time and we've done a lot of projects, but it's been brought to our attention numerous times, interest and need for something that honors our veterans in a different sort of way. And we found out from Mr. Gary Turner that that was the old draft board building. And so we thought that would be a perfect place to have a veterans museum. We already have a group who has agreed to clean and paint. We're going to clean and close the bathroom because there's not going to be a need for that. What we ask from you all is that you get a small heating, cooling, portable unit that dehumidifies so that the items that are placed in there, uniforms and things like that, will not deteriorate because of temperature fluctuations. We are, if this is approved, we would begin a campaign to collect memorabilia. We already have people who have offered pieces of uniforms, a variety of other things. I have a 1918 a newspaper that has all of the 1918 World War I Dooley County draftees. I would have brought it. I was sharing with Commissioner Mixon, but it's very fragile. Mm-hmm. It's almost crumbling. But it's a wonderful, piece of memorabilia that can be put in there and put under glass or a way to protect it so that it doesn't deteriorate any further. So that is our request, is that you all support us in using that building, allow us access to it, and do that. The one thing, I did check into the prices, and you can get one for less than $500, the heating cooling unit, usually about $300. I did my Amazon research. And really, we don't anticipate utilities to be very minimal because you just want it at a level, like I said, where you won't have major fluctuations in the heating and cooling. we would open it on days that are appropriate to honor our veterans, and we would open it on request. We also would be using volunteers to staff the museum, and we would hope that there would be enough interest from our veterans in the county to be a part of that, volunteer program too. And I think that would be something that would be really easy for us to organize. So we're just asking that you all give us a yes to our proposal and help us as we move forward with when we do a grant, if approved. You see, I'm being very optimistic that when we host a grand opening and a ribbon cutting, that you all would be there to support us with your presence. That's all, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much.
Could I ask a question of the attorney? I reckon if the board was in favor of pursuing this, would there need to be some sort of an agreement drafted, or?
I would be very careful to use the word draft.
Would there need to be an agreement prepared?
Yes. I think we should probably have some sort of a lease agreement or a memorandum of understanding, whatever we need to do, because we need to cover, it's not been said, but they're anticipating that if there's a problem that you would make the repair. It's what I'm hearing. I don't know that, but I'm assuming that somebody's got to pay a power bill. It's not going to be a water bill. It's not going to be a gas bill. But those things need to be spelled out. And if it becomes their request and or the pleasure of the board to keep that on the power bill or whatever, we need to show that there's a public purpose for why we're doing this. And honoring our veterans certainly would be that. I mean, for years we've had veterans offices in the courthouses, something we don't have now. And so this would be a legitimate purpose. But you also want to tailor it down so that you don't get the Me Too's when somebody wants you to pay the power bill to a church or something else that comes up, because that will come down the road later unless you spell out what exactly they've asked for and what exactly you're doing. There should be no assumptions. And I think that Beth and I can work together, if y'all allow us to come up with something that maybe other communities have used, so we don't reinvent the wheel, but also just to tap it down.
Is this gonna be like the Dooley County
Yes.
Veterans Museum?
Yes.
This,
But Steve, did anybody in the past ask about that building?
Yes, we've had several inquiries about trying to do something at that building for the veterans, since at one time that was the draft. I don't know what it was before it was the draft board building, but that's way before my time. So, but
No, I sort of went through there.
okay,
You did?
I did.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I might have been one of the last, and that's why I went to college. But, okay.
So do we need to make a move on it now, make a motion now, or just let you and Ms. Bennett work together, or how we need to handle it?
authorizing them.
I would, authorize the attorney to work with Beth to try to work out an agreement to bring back before y'all.
I make that motion. We approve them getting billed and let the lawyer, Ms. Beth, work out a memorandum of understanding or whatever.
Second.
And you'll have this up and running by Armistice Day?
We would like to have it open for Veterans Day in November at the latest.
Good.
And that is the building right over here.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right by the South Georgia Bank.
Right.
That little small building right there.
Yeah. Okay, we already done had the discussion on it. So,
There's one other thing you didn't ask for. I think you need a flagpole.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, we do. But we are pretty good at begging stuff. So unless you want to buy that for us, Mr. Casey, we'd be happy to buy one. But we do, yes.
Well, she and I are already coordinating with a group of volunteers from the Abbas House, which is Russell Taunton, who's a former trooper and a former Marine. And they have skilled carpenters and painters and stuff like that. And we already have the ability to clean the tile floor. We have a machine, and we have some leftover stuff from when we had that at the campground. So we've got a lot of the things that just kind of fall into place. And I think the flagpole, if we get the right organization, I know that the Exchange Club in Albany has a lot of ties to this area, and they do a lot of flag stuff. I don't know if they've ever done flagpoles, but they might if we ask. you know, because we're sort of in their region. A lot of them have retired and gone around the lake. There's a lot of, or a civic organization, even in Cordell or Dooley County, that, you know, that could donate that and make it, the more groups you get part of it, the better. And, you know, if worst comes to worst, they may come back to you to ask you to do it. But I think it's better to get community participation because they'll know, then they will support the project.
And that's how we did the flagpole at the Walter George Law Office. Mr. Bartonfield, many of you may remember him, donated that pole. And Congressman Bishop is always, always generous about getting a flag that flew over the United States Capitol, which I think would be an appropriate thing to do as well.
Are there any other discussion? If not, all in favor by the show of hands? Okay, that is unanimous.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got something for you.
That includes the buying the humidifier,
Include what now?
the purchase of the humidifier.
It's the AC system that would.
We'll hold off on that. That'll be in the agreement when he did come back with.
Okay, all right.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
All right,
No, he didn't go through that.
Oh, no.
I was probably one of the last one to go through
I didn't
that.
ever know what the building was till I got came.
Yeah.
It was a barbershop.
Yeah, it was a barber shop, but I saw
for
them.
years.
I saw them.
Something else, that lady running it, she was on top of it. I got a phone call. You better get out here, son.
What was her name?
Yeah.
It's Francis Burke.
A whole lot of us went to college them years when you were going to Vietnam. We didn't want to have no part of it, but hey.
All right, item number 2, we don't have the financial report ready for the month of August yet. We'll have it by the next meeting. Item number 3, I meant to mention this before Beth left. Board of Health, Rooney Bowen, who serves as the chairman of the Board of Health, recommends that, he says Beth English has volunteered, has agreed to serve on the Board of Health if y'all would like to appoint, if y'all choose to appoint her, so.
Let me say, we on that.
Sir,
Since we on that, what's the function of that board?
with the Board of Health.
Yeah. Instead of just attending the meeting.
I don't know if I tell what I got here. Let's go here. The county website. County directory. Board of Health. See what we have on our website. Responsibilities of the Board of Health. There's a county board of health in each county in the state that determines the county's health needs and resources and develops programs to meet these needs, and general responsibility for all public health matters within the county, such as the placement of septic tanks, the abatement of public nuisances, disease prevention, vaccinations against contagious diseases, and other such matters to prevent the spread of infectious matter, and rabies control is vested in the Board of Health. These responsibilities include the enforcement of health laws and regulations. And the position that's currently vacant is a number 4, a person appointed by the county governing authority who is a consumer or a person from an advocacy group who will represent the county's consumers of health services. I believe that's about all the information we have.
Can I get a copy of that, Mr. Steve?
Yes, sir. That's out of the ACCG County Commissioner's Handbook there. So, yeah, I'll get you a copy of that.
You want to ask her before we,
So
so you just need a motion?
yeah, she's
At your spot.
No, I'm still on there.
Oh,
It's
I'm talking
another,
about like, was you the one that was find somebody to point for that? That was the other position, wasn't it?
yeah, that was another position.
Oh, so
It's
it's,
sitting in district.
Yeah,
Oh,
y'all
okay.
never have assigned these to
okay.
any individual district, so.
Yeah, I make a motion to appoint Beth English to position 4 of the Dooley County Board of Health.
Myself.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on it before we vote on it? If not, all in favor by the show of hands? Yeah, I just been approached by a few people about some position over there.
Okay.
Nobody wants it, everybody wants it.
Update on the UEMS station in Unadilla. Yesterday afternoon, I went up there and did a walkthrough with Glenn and with Don Wilford. And they're getting real close. They're getting down to the little bitty items, the trim and all that kind of stuff. So they hoping to be able to move in next month. So,
We're still at budget.
yes. And Glenn is fully expecting to come in under budget as of yesterday. So,
They got the other building attached to it?
Yeah.
yes,
I haven't been up there.
yes, it's the carport. It's not permanently anchored yet, but it's up there. They're waiting on to finish some trim before they attach it to the building. They still got a few things to do, but they're getting very close. Okay. The new SPLOST, I'm still trying to make contact with Dooling and get their list. There's the only municipality I hadn't received their list of projects for yet, but
When's the deadline on that? For us to get it on the ballot?
I want to get the information to Bernetta by the end of December, before the end of December.
Decent, okay.
Who are you trying to contact?
The mayor pro tem,
Who is?
Nancy Allen, because I understood the mayor resigned due to health issues, is what I understood. So I've spoken to her, but she hasn't followed through on it yet. So
And it's hard. That's all.
it's hard. Thank you.
Something to one of the council person there, but nobody don't seem to know.
Who's the city clerk? Do you know, Bernetta?
That's what I'm saying. It's sort of.
Okay.
Why are they still?
Yeah,
Okay.
but
All right.
I know where Bernetta coming from.
Okay.
Well, at some point, you know, we can't let that one small thing hold us up. So we're gonna have to force the issue.
Well, that's what I was getting to is, did they get left out if they don't turn in a project? Because you've got everybody else ready to vote.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
Well, I sort of. I'm like Bernetta. I don't want to say too much, but I sort of know who some of the ones are. But if I can just get, I don't know.
My suggestion,
Yeah, it's sort of ugly, but I mean, it's scattered everywhere.
my suggestion is we have several meetings of this board between now and then, and between now and the end of November. I would suggest that if we send a letter, if there is no response, we send a letter and invite them to have it to us by X date, and if not, in that same letter, for their board to be here as a board with us, if you want to force the issue. Then they can vote or whatever, they can advertise their meeting or whatever. But that would get it done
Mm-hmm.
if you want to do it. If you don't, but I mean, otherwise you're going to be sitting here in December, at the end of December going, what are we going to do? Isn't it the only source of income that they have? They do not, other than water.
That's it.
They
Ain't
have
no
water?
water, no water either.
They have water?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
got
water
water up
system.
there. Yeah.
That's the reason they got reincorporated, to get a grant to put in the water system.
So the folks
30 years ago.
Who
living
maintains the
and
water
staying
system?
everywhere. They ain't,
I
you know,
don't
it's hard to
know.
get old.
I don't know who does that.
It maintains itself. It maintains itself.
But the city had actually given up its charter years ago.
Yeah.
And they reactivated the city for the sole purpose of being able to get a grant to put a water system in.
And with that water issue, which they had last year, it was, I mean, some of the people took it really serious because they were constantly calling me and calling the representative and everybody else. But again, now, see, that's why I say, you know, they need to be educated on stuff like this so that they'll know that this, I mean, this is a whole big challenge in to put these things on paper so you can get what you want instead of complaining when soon as something go wrong, you think everybody's supposed to jump through all kind of hoops for you. But,
You know, they have a local polity of a town to run a water system, and that is anything we can do on this end to help them maintain that on as their self-sufficient project, so that we don't take on a 30-year-old water system is probably a good idea right now.
Yeah, no, let's get in contact with them. You have a list of names and phone numbers? I'll go call somebody.
yeah.
Call whoever needs to make the
But
decision.
you made contact.
I have contacted her and she was supposed to get back with me, and I'm waiting on that. So I will follow up with that and see where I get. Number 6, we'll have a little budget work session again right after this meeting to hopefully get ready to start advertising the proposed millage rate. Item number 7, the planning commission will have their next meeting on September the 11th. They've got 2 requests that we're considering. Request number 1, Keith Lambert has applied for a zoning variance for tax parcel B312-3 on 146 Old Dixie Highway in Byronville. The purpose of this to allow the road setback to be reduced to 45 feet from the center of the road. And request number 2 is Nicole Williams from WMSS LLC has applied for a zoning variance on tax parcel 49-6 on Coney Road outside of Ina. The purpose of this request is allow the side setback to be reduced to 10 feet on the side property for a future building. Those are both variances that the planning commission has the Board of Commissioners have given the planning commission the authority to issue variances. So these the planning commission will be making the final decision on those 2 items next Monday.
What's the setback now for both of them? From the front, 45 feet from the center of the road, what is it now? I just asked a question. You know, you don't know.
6.
It's 90 feet from the center.
99. And what about the other one, 10 feet? What is it now?
The side setback, it's either 20 or 25. I can't remember off the top of my head.
So 1's trying to bring it closer to the road and 2's trying to get it closer to a side property line.
Yes. And actually, Mr. Lambert's in Byronville. He's trying to put something back at the site of a previous building.
I'm about to say,
The slab already exists, so
Yeah.
it's questionable whether he should have been required to do this. I think to cover the county, I think you need to go through the process, but I don't see that being an issue. And this one here, the one here on County Road, that's for the water park facility out on County Road.
It's gonna be what now?
Well, they proposed a water park initially, but I think they're changing it up. They're gonna put a restaurant out there initially. I think is what I was told. So. Okay, item number 8, just a reminder, Middle Georgia EMC is hosting a Cooperative Communities Summit on Thursday, October the 19th from 10 to 2. That's the date of our second meeting in October, so
If we look at the move, can we move our meeting or?
that's y'all's call.
Well, you know the next question, they gonna feed us.
Yes, they are planning a meal.
Okay.
Consistency.
I just know with the internet, I mean, they're, the fiber and all they've done out in the county and stuff, they're big. I'd like to attend, but I hate to miss.
Do we need to reserve?
Well, I'm planning on going. I told them I'll go, but I may be late getting there.
That's true.
So,
Mine ain't worked the last 2 nights, so maybe we can address that issue.
What's that?
I said my fiber haven't worked the last 2 nights.
Mine works at night, it's just not in the mornings.
Mine
Mine worked last night.
It
It
was
worked
working
yesterday
on,
morning, this
what
morning.
street is that?
I'm sorry, what's fiber?
Not Coney Road, but one of them roads, they were working on something yesterday, cause a lot of people's phones was out, but their phones came back on once
it's
they.
back up and work. It's back working now.
It is.
Okay, moving along.
Do we need to decide what we're gonna do? Or we
I'd like
wanna
to
wait till
either-
the next meeting?
I'd like to either minimize our
Meeting and go.
meeting from 9 to 10 and just make it, nobody on the agenda, whatever high points you had to hit. But on
It
the
depends on where the conference is going to be at, but they had not determined the location of it
Oh,
yet.
it's not gonna be out there.
Well, they don't know yet.
Oh,
It
we don't
depends
know
on how many
yet.
folks respond, so they'll know how large a facility they need to have.
Do you want to move your meeting time up a little bit if you need to?
It's fine.
I mean,
I'm fine either way. Like I said, they're a big partner in the county. I'd like to go see what they're proposing.
So do I need to RSVP for anybody for this?
Yes, they would leave from the meeting.
I mean, we can shout the meeting.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, we can.
Then we won't have to
Long
advertise.
we can keep David under control, we can shout.
Then we won't have to advertise it. will we?
so does everybody want me to RSVP for them?
Yeah.
All right, we'll move along. Item number 9, Jalapa Road. Our engineers have scheduled the bid opening for the storm drain repairs on Jalapa Road. The bid opening is, they're advertising for bids now, and the bid opening is gonna be Tuesday, October the 3rd, here at this office. That way they'll be able to present the bids to y'all at the first meeting in October.
Well, what would be, once we get the bids in, what would be the completion date?
I don't know.
What, since you mentioned that the road out by Mr. Harris, what was they down in that a little valley like thing there? They were doing some work out there on the road. We heard patching or doing something.
Mr. Harris.
D. Harris, going out to buy Ellis Brothers.
On Tippettville Road,
Uh-huh.
that was, that was, 1 or 2 meetings ago, y'all approved, a proposal from Griffin Grading to go pave. We had, I think, 10 pavement cuts around the county where we had put in new pipe on paved roads. There was one on Tippettville Road that they were finished, that they were working on. And they were hoping to get through today with that.
They finished yesterday evening, they've already cleared it.
So they did finish yesterday.
They got them all.
Okay.
It was, I went through that way yesterday. I bet you 10 trucks out there, folks. I thought they were finna pave the road. I said, no, I don't know nothing about that.
They were just patching where Rottingham had to replace a cross drain pipe, and they were patching the pavement there.
On Jalapa, the bids, after we get the bids, that's where we turn around and ask DOT for the money.
We can submit that to DOT, and then normally they will forward the money right on to us once we have accepted a proposal.
They've already approved to help
They've
us.
approved up to, they've approved 90% of the cost of the project up to a maximum of the 300 or 350, 300, I think. I think $300,000.
And the whole project cost how much?
Well, we don't know.
I mean, we won't know till the bid.
If we won't know to the bid owed him, if we did, and he's gonna bid, he's asking for 4 different options.
Because I know it was up there pretty good.
His one he would like to do, he projected that to be about $500,000.
Mhm.
So we may have to lower not go for the Mercedes Benz.
Put in some metal pipe.
Well, hopefully we're not gonna go that low. Item number 10, okay, we've already taken care of the request from the Women's Club. And item number 11, the surplus property with Bernetta purchasing the house in Yondell. That closing is scheduled. Nick Edwards is going to handle the closing. That's scheduled to close next Monday. So. And item number 12, go ahead.
On 11, that, didn't you need us to
That
obsolete?
that's been handled. That's been handled another way. Item 12, the River Valley Regional Commission is inquired if Dooley County intends to submit an application for a 2024 Community Development Block Grant, a CDBG grant from the Georgia Department of Community Affairs.
Now, what would that cover?
Well, that would be up to us to decide first you got to identify what kind of project you want to do. But the problem with us is
We ain't got no neighborhood.
target areas for CDBG projects must meet 70% low to moderate income households. And the area needs to have at least 30 or more homes in order for the cost per person to stay reasonable. So they recommend you focus on neighborhoods that will most likely exceed 70% low to moderate income and consist of 30 or more households. And
I say it all the
Can you
time.
find that in the county?
it's difficult for rural counties to qualify for a CDBG nowadays.
See, that's why I asked what I did, because I worked in that program right there. And it is just not fair the way it is written up.
If John Doe's house needs work, why does it matter
Right.
what his neighbors? But they didn't ask us to help make the rules. That's the rules. So,
Can we not do this in a city limit?
oh yeah, the cities.
Can we not?
I reckon you
Pacific
could.
County?
Yeah, you could. I'm
I
assuming.
think if there's an overlapping jurisdiction that has the ability to make that application, that they need to be the one doing that, because it's also subject to all of their zoning and other things.
We'll say like Pinehurst.
That's what you're saying.
There are zoning, but they might not have the $47,000 to help that group back on. I mean, think of the houses.
I would think the city would need to sign off on.
The city would have to say they're not doing it, I believe, and then we would be able to go in, but we wouldn't, and then we would have to go in because of the need. But in sake of argument, Pinehurst or Byronville might likely be the only two that would fit in. And are there 30 homes that meet that criteria in the designated area?
If Truman qualified, I would say yes.
You got to identify a geographic area, as I interpret it, that's going to have at least 30 homes. And in that area, 70% of them have to be low to moderate income. I'm not saying,
I still say you got it.
but if we want to proceed, River Valley needs to know by October the 1st so they can.
Who over that program? I know River Valley, but who?
I don't know who's in charge of that now. They've had some staff turnover.
Okay. Let's see, we had some people that were hired, I thought should have been worked on and really needed it. And they weren't but 2 or 3 miles down the road and they wouldn't, and they had the money left over. And that's why what the road out here got all them driveways and stuff to keep from working on the house. They wouldn't pay the cement at the driveway. And then and in another county, it was almost entirely different. That's what I couldn't.
And this is, River Valley is saying some suggested projects that have been funded in the past years. Yeah.
What about street and drainage?
They did some of that too.
When you got to identify,
Yeah.
there again, you got to identify a geographic area. There's got to be at least 30 low to moderate income homes in that geographic area, or 30 homes in that area, and 70% of them have to be low to moderate income.
For street what?
Truman wouldn't even qualify now.
No.
Street
They tightened it up even more.
paving?
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
They will
I
fund the
know,
payment if you can show benefit to low moderate income people.
Well, that's killing all that is, you can't be no alcohol
Right.
with it too.
You remember they did all
That killed a lot.
that?
Well, and then also you gotta, then
Right.
I think one of the ways they scored is how much are you spending per person that's benefit?
What about the prison in Unadilla? Aren't they low to moderate income?
Sure.
I'm thinking about all those roads out there, the county and stuff we talked about needing.
Well, Mr. Nixon, you make a very good point. However, I believe the criteria for this is that you actually have ownership before you live.
Oh, it's a lot of roads, yeah.
Yeah,
And you
And
can't
How
own.
big can the geographical
what
location
killed a
be?
lot.
Well, see, that was the problem before.
You asking me questions I do not know the answers
Like I
to.
just told you, it was a
I
mile or
think
two
you need
down
to
the
look at the
road.
definition of household that was in the
And then they
the
spell it all
criteria
out.
and whether or not a prison would qualify as a household. It probably does for certain federal designations, but not this.
Okay,
This
but
is-
take the prison, can you come in and take in the houses around it, the houses back on Mulberry, but then go out into Kent? I mean, you'll have 30 houses, low to moderate income.
in the county outside the city of Unadilla.
It'd be a mix.
I'm trying to see.
My advice is, rather than shooting in the dark on this, is to contact the grant writer. I know that we don't need to get into the discussion of the former grant writer because y'all don't like her and she don't want to write for y'all. Ms. Kurtz, just leave it at that. So find somebody that can write the grant. There's plenty of people out there that do it, and let them answer the question if they will.
Shame on you, Mr. Attorney.
Well, this letter is from Grant Richardson with River Valley. So I'll call him and ask him some of these questions.
I mean, she's not the
I'll
only
come
one
in.
who writes grants.
And that's the
calling
point
them.
I tried to emphasize. Because I know some other people did it too.
Mhm.
And, but we didn't follow up on that. But, yeah, she is the only one.
I'm just saying, if there's a retention for $1 million, we need to go out 47,000. I think any city in the county would write off on that.
But I think the problem you're gonna find is the cost per person that's gonna benefit is gonna be so high, you're not gonna score high enough to get funded,
To get the million.
to get the
full
million,
thing.
to get the full funding.
'Cause the last time I think we did 10, I think it wasn't it 10 homes that fit in that,
The last CBDG grant we got was the Truman Road project out there.
$500,000.
yeah.
Then will RBC RBRC come over and
I'll give,
look for potential? Cause I know like the cities, they get CDBG for their water and sewage, manholes, stuff like that. But does every city apply for this?
No,
don't know, I doubt it.
I tell you that. No. And see, that's the problem. I think Eugene, didn't you have Byronville out with their water up there?
We just kind of keep looking at it and
Yeah.
keep telling them they had to interact and have the conversation so they'd know what they had to do. Instead of them sitting on their hands there
That's
and
what I'm
in their
talking about.
meetings and looking at each other. You got to have the conversation to find out what the problem is and then address the problem.
And CDBG funds cannot be used for a government building.
Medical, Do you need a medical, community, senior, or literacy training center? Do you already have one or more of these with overcrowding problem, or have needs for renovations or expansions?
I think we need to, really look at it and then just search around for somebody that can probably fit that thing in for Dooley County. But
So that would be a senior center?
That would be a project that would qualify.
In a community
Then that
center?
unit that was got knocked out called the base.
Many people working on base.
All right, well, I'll try to get Grant Richard to come to the next meeting. All right, the only other thing on the agenda is, executive session for personnel matter and then a budget work session, so.
You don't know.
Oh,
I'm
did
talking
you need to meet with anything for now? I don't think so.
How about, okay, I got you.
Okay, they're here for personnel.
I make a motion we go to executive session, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
It has been motioned and second. All in favor by the show of hands. That motion carried. We are now headed into
You're welcome, stick around.
executive session.
You know,
This conference will now be recorded.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of executive session as read in executive session.
I second.
It has been motioned and second. All in favor by the show of hands. That motion carried. We'll back in regular session.
You just need a motion to hire Miss Monica.
motion to offer employment as a custodian to Monica Davis.
I so make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I second.
It has been motioned and second. All in favor by the show of hands. That motion carried also.
Okay, so I'm free to let her know that she's been accepted.
That's all the items on the agenda, other than I'd like to go into a budget work session, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. And she gonna start Monday, right?
No, I think she could, but we want to let her exit there properly.
Okay.
So if not this Monday, following
I
Monday.
stay up there part-time.
Will she
She
still,
said she would,
Yeah.
will she still fill in here
yes,
until then? Is she the only one covering the cleaning?
yes. She was here yesterday. That was one of her off days. No, it was Tuesday. Okay.
So we're prepared to go into a budget work session at this time.
I guess so.
Okay.